Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest and exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. If you've got a high-performance vehicle and you are looking to turbocharge it, there is only one place to go, and that is Liberation Automation. And Charles, you're the genius behind all of this. Give me the rundown of what you guys do.
So basically we do everything for all 90s, early 90s Japanese cars, including some of the modern Japanese cars up until the 2021 Supra is our latest production stuff. We build it all by hand here in America with American-made parts for you guys, all the car enthusiasts.
Now, how hard is it to source everything from the U.S.?
It's an incredible challenge, actually. And a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to get American-made materials and how limited they are. And we do our best to try and make sure that everything that leaves our shop is American-made steel, produced here for you guys.
Before we talk about these parts in particular, I want to talk about why Made in the U.S. is so important to you. His past career, by the way, is pretty impressive. He was in charge of $100 million aircraft and 2 lives every single day. What did you do in your previous life?
I was a F-15 crew chief for the last 12.5 years, just recently separated, and my brother was an embassy guard throughout the entire world, and to include parts of Africa and stuff like that, and we're business partners in this whole thing.
You've got a vested interest in our liberty, so thank you.
American-made and American-built is extremely important to us.
So let's talk about what you brought with you here for show and tell. Obviously, the manifolds are super impressive.
Well, thank you.
There, yeah.
So this is what we started off building almost 7 years ago. We started building turbo manifolds for all kinds of Japanese cars, mainly for the drift scene and the import scene. We've since then branched out and we started doing fabrication parts, like these turbo flanges and other DIY fabrication kit kind of stuff. Again, we can build pretty much anything turbo manifold wise or even turbo supporting equipment here out in the US. So.
First I want to talk about something that just impressed me. I mean, the angles on this thing and on this one too. I mean, it's super impressive just looking in there. How hard is it to get a piece like that put together?
It's extremely difficult to mesh those 6 pieces of tube equidistant from each other.
I can only imagine the labor that goes into that. It's very impressive.
And all of it's hand welded. None of it's done by any robots or anything like that. The only thing that is mass produced by us in our own shop is these machine flanges. The rest of it is all cut and fit by hand. So on the manifold, you would normally have 3 signatures, and that would be showcasing that me and the 2 other guys that work with me have signed off on this product. So what you're getting is not just some mass-produced garbage. It is a custom piece of art for your application based off of what you've told us.
Well, it's clearly one of the most beautiful pieces I've ever seen. But let's talk about the materials, what makes it so high quality.
The materials that we use are all 304 Schedule 10 stainless pipe. And the great thing about this is the material itself is highly overrated for what the application is. This tube can handle a tremendous amount of heat and pressure. This manifold is easily going to be able to handle what any turbo car out there is going to be able to produce.
And speaking of the turbos themselves, there's no supports here. I've seen a lot of others that have supports here for the big turbo unit.
Correct.
How much stronger is this than that?
I don't have an exact percentage of how much stronger it is, but it is considerably stronger. We have gone through some pretty extensive R&D to make sure that this turbo manifold can support any turbo application, all the way up to some of the larger frame BorgWarner S480s, which are massive without any weight issues or stress issues or anything like that. Almost zero fatigue. We've had them returned to us with 4 or 5 years of use, and they absolutely look as they should. So.
Your manifolds are affordable, but I can go online and find them for a couple $100. What's the difference between those and what you make?
Absolutely. So when you buy something for a couple $100 from China or something like that, you may get 4 or 5 uses out of it before it starts to degrade and has issues, cracking, deformation, stuff like that, lack of performance. With this, you're going to have years and years of application fun and be able to beat the ever-living crap out of it. So.
And they made perfectly with the flanges in the U.S. How many other folks are doing those flanges?
There's very few companies here in the U.S. that are producing flanges of this high quality. Almost none of the manufacturers that are producing flanges now in the U.S. are fully machined on all sides. Most of them are going to be machined from a piece of bar stock, whereas ours is machined, like I said, 100% on all 4 sides. Gives you an incredible accuracy, and they start out perfectly flat.
Just looking at these, I can't imagine I'd have any problems, but what if something goes wrong?
If you end up having any issues with these related to failure, cracking, stuff like that, we warranty these full replacement for the next 5 years from the date of purchase.
5 years?
Yes.
There is nothing that lasts on a race car for 5 years.
No, this will.
That's incredible. Well, these parts can handle anything you can throw at them. Check them out at liberationautomation.com. We will be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings right after this, so do not go anywhere.